Hey everyone, hope you're having a good morning and that your day is off to a great start. I'm back with another reading from a book I wrote back in the 1990s. For more context, you can go back to the previous videos, but today I'm just going to jump right in to chapter 4, which is called Amazing Love. And by the way, it was inspired by a song that was pretty popular back in the day for youth ministry, for youth groups, as well as a story that I heard from or read from Charles Colson in his book called The Body. So let's dive in. Again, we're reading from Where is the Hope? I'm not good at about putting that in front of the camera, but Where is the Hope? A book I wrote in the 1990s. And it's still relevant today. Can you believe that? Okay, here we go. How can it be that you, my God, would die for me? Have you ever really thought about the message of that song, Amazing Love? Have you really let it sink in? Someone giving their life for a life of another. For someone to die in the place of another person is without a doubt amazing love. Allow me to share with you two stories that are both deeply rooted in this kind of love, and both stories are true. No doubt you are very familiar with the second story, but the first one may be a new one to you. It took place a little more than 50 years ago, probably 70 years now, in Auschwitz, a Nazi death camp during World War II. The ugly memories of millions of Jews being killed during the Holocaust include mass shootings, lethal injection, and hydrogen cyanide baths, which made quick work of victims as they showered, as many as 2,000 at a time. By the end of July 1941, the death camp was working like a well organized killing machine. 8,000 Jews could be stripped, gassed, and cremated, all in 24 hours. Every 24 hours. But for all of the ugly memories of this death camp, there is one of beauty, of love. It's the memory, and I will probably not pronounce this guy's name right, of Francisek Gozowitschnik and a Franciscan priest named Maximilian Kolbe. They were both prisoners in Barracks 14. One night in July, the sounds of insects and frogs in the marshy land surrounding the camp was interrupted by the roaring of sirens, the baying of dogs, and the curses of soldiers. A prisoner had escaped from Barracks 14. The next morning, the gallows in the prison camp was empty. That meant the prisoner had successfully made it out of Auschwitz. And that also meant death for some of those who remained. Camp Commandant Fritsch began to speak as the veins in his thick neck popped out with rage. "The fugitive has not been found," he screamed. "10 of you will be placed in the starvation bunker to die in his place. Next time, 20 will be condemned." The rows of exhausted prisoners from Barracks 14 began to sway as they heard the sentence. The guards let them. Terror was part of the punishment. Commandant Fritsch walked the rows of prisoners as he chose a man to be condemned. His dreary assistant noted the number stamped on the prisoner's filthy shirt. Before long, 9 men had been chosen, and then finally prisoner number 5659, Gozowitschnik, I can't say his name, but anyways, you get it, was the 10th selection. Immediately, he began to cry and moan and plead, "My poor wife, my poor children, what will they do?" Suddenly, there was a commotion in the ranks. A prisoner had broken out of line calling for the commandant. Now, leaving the ranks was cause for a prisoner's immediate execution. But for some reason, instead of shooting the prisoner, the commandant shouted at him, "Halt! What does this Polish pig want of me?" It was then that prisoner number 16670, Maximilian Kolbe, spoke up and declared that he would like to die in the place of prisoner number 5659. Why? Snapped the commandant. As everyone looked on, Kolb replied, because I'm an old man, sir, and good for nothing. My life will serve no purpose. Let me die for him, because he is still young. After a few moments of stunned silence, the commandant responded, request granted. Prisoner number 16670 was led off with the other 9 to die in the place of prisoner number 5659. As the hours and days passed away, however, the count became aware of something extraordinary happening in the death cell. Instead of hearing the dying prisoners howling and attacking one another, as was common, those outside the death box heard the faint sounds of singing. No doubt prisoner number 16670 was the inspiration. On August 14th, 1941, there were 4 prisoners still alive in the starvation bunker, and it was needed for new occupants. So these 4 were injected with a lethal drug, the last of which to die was Kolb. Prisoner number 5659 was able to survive the Holocaust. He returned home. Every year, however, he went back to Auschwitz on August the 14th to say thank you to the man who died in his place. Amazing love. You know the second story, so I'll be brief. It took place about 2,000 years ago on a rugged wooden cross at a garbage dump outside of Jerusalem at a place called the Skull. The Creator died for the creation. God suspended on a cross for each one of us, Christ dying for us so that we could live eternally. Amazing love. How can it be that you, my God, would die for me? I love how John describes it in 1 John 3:16. This is how we know what real love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us. We, like prisoner number 5659, should never forget a love that is so amazing. So as you go through this day, may you never forget that you have a God, you have a Father, you have a Savior who loves you deeply. Be blessed. Grace and peace to you.